about 9:48, about ready to call it a night. So we always talk about time over certain levels, and we have a chart, long-term chart, on the channels for the S&P 500, SPY, and we're looking at the minis here because I was checking out the futures and aftermarket, after hours, and the hourly chart tomorrow, SPY should hold 263. If we don't close below 263, the uptrend's still intact. 263 is the number. And then we know the lower numbers that we talked about for that used to be resistance are now support, and we'll go through those in the morning as well. But the longer term chart, I mean, to me is pretty intact. I'm a little bit bearish longer term, so at least I have a reference point as a contrarian or a little bit bearish here of where, if I'm going to short the market on a Fibonacci retrace, where's my pain threshold at? I don't think we're going to get back up to that level, but at least have a point of reference. I don't really have a point of reference here if I'm a bull and I'm looking for, significant upside, because there's still a lot of downside left. And we always talk about, time under and time over certain areas. I might have to redraw this channel in the morning because I just whipped it together for after hours here, but you can kind of see it crosses through, and we'll extend this to the right. This area right here where we always talk about, 4 days under a level, you got to get out if you don't get above it in the 5th day. So we've been under that trend line for 1, 2, 3, 4, plenty of days. We got back over it one day, and then we fell back under it. And then another day, too, we closed kind of right on it and then fell back under it. So once again, we have 1 day over it. So just from a longer term perspective, there's no doubt about it. We talked about this chart from the Fib fan on the way down, the breakout from the pennant. We talked about in the videos that a lot of energy is building up in Monday, Tuesday. We'll probably show the direction of the market for the next few weeks. But longer term, unless you show me we can hold above this trend line 4 or 5 days in a row, I think the market's still a little bit vulnerable here, regardless of this move. I'm looking for higher prices, but I want to see how we come away from this high volume candle rejection where you have these guys stranded in the 269 area. The high was 26.97. We were looking at the SPY chart before. Then you have the gap open, and then just we come crashing down pretty hard there. So yeah, I mean, it's easy to take a bullish position here because we did have a huge volume breakout to the upside. Just from a longer term perspective, though, you got to show me some time over here before I get a little bit more constructive on the longer term. Shorter term, absolutely. Looks like we're going to go tag some higher numbers. We got some Momo behind us, some FOMO too. Guys thinking, okay, the bottom's in. Now at least have a shorter term reference point. But at some point, the overhead, all this overhead, extra sellers is going to start to produce some energy to the downside. And the FOMO guys and the bulls are going to meet with the guys that aren't so, they just want to get out of the market. A lot of overhead supply here. And when those two things meet and you start to find an equilibrium, that's when the fundamentals will play. Right now, we're just working on technicals, we're working on the news, on the virus, we're working on hopium. I mean, everything's cracking right now. We're working off a massive oversold spot here, technically, in the market. And we're kind of winding back up. So at some point, these two are going to meet, and then it's going to be all about fundamentals. So let's see how that trades off. We're still looking for higher prices. Let's look at the intraday and see some of the channels we were looking at. The volume at the close was unbelievable. I mean, and we're doing 5 million shares a minute on SPY. It was insane. I think we have the after hours here. So that's 2152 military. Yeah, that's 952. So this was the aftermarket here. Big spike in the aftermarket into the close. And then we started trading along this trend line here. And there's a lower channel too. And we hit the pivot there on the lower channel. Now we're kind of drifting lower in after hours. Not a huge amount of volume. It doesn't really matter. I mean, it does and it doesn't. But that 2638 area right along here is going to be support from the break. And once again, you'll see it in here as support, 2638, which is obviously 263 and change on SPY. So 263 on the hourly, if we don't close under that, we could stretch under it intraday, but a close under 263 would be a little concerning moving forward in the market. But we'll see how tomorrow trades out. keep your powder dry for sure.